Okay, we are live and we are sharing. Okay, so we're at Hangout 1 and our first tool is by me. It's called ClassKick. It was founded by teachers and engineers. Andrew and Peter are co-founders of ClassKick. Only one of them had a last name, so I chose to just write first names. Andrew is the CEO and Peter is the COO. And if you want to learn more about them, they have an about page that speaks more about Andrew specifically and his frustrations under ClassKick history on their webpage. What it is, it's just a program that allows teachers to create lessons or assessments. It gives the students ability to respond using text, audio, drawings, and images. Teachers and peers can give feedback on those. Teachers can see who's doing well or struggling and can track the students' progress through assignments. It has a relatively straightforward interface, so it's pretty easy to use because once the lessons and assessments are made, you can access your students individually and see their progress. And it can be like some possibilities. It can be used with students who are sick. It can be used in center time, can be used for homework, and can be used for more what I said superficial assessments, like what your class's favorite ice cream is. Applying the SAMR model. So for substitute, the teacher could have the students complete an assessment on ClassKick instead of using a paper and pencil. For augment, they could allow peer helpers so that students can collaborate on an assignment. For modify, the students could add audio and images in addition to the text they are sharing with one another. And redefine, the teacher can assist students and receive feedback even when not in the classroom. In the event that the teacher has to be out of the classroom, there can still be a substitute, but when it comes time to complete an assignment or assessment, the teacher can still respond to the students while not being there physically. And the conclusion is some good things about it, like reasons it should be used, is it allows the teachers to see all students' progress and, quote, raise hands simultaneously. It's like signal for help. It allows peer helpers to assist or encourage another student, and it allows input and feedback in text, audio, drawings, and images. Some problems I could see with it are students who do not have internet at home cannot access it for possible homework. It requires either computers or tablets, which may not be in the school's budget, and it does not have the option to receive feedback from outside of the class.
My tool is next. It's Plickers. Nolan Amy is the CEO and founder. He developed Plickers while teaching math in California. Jen Kim is in charge of marketing. She joined full-time in 2014 to develop products and do marketing. Satoka Lam is the engineer. He focuses on international connections. And Nicholas Hansen is the community manager who draws from experience of working in South Africa with other educational endeavors. He did a few other programs there. It's about what it is it's a learning app that assesses understanding. It only needs to be downloaded by the teacher, which is helpful because the students don't, need a laptop or a smartphone. It corresponds to a set of printable cards that have a unique number that can be assigned to students. Students in classes can be added and modified online by the teacher. Questions can be set in multiple choice or true and false format. And by using the camera view, teachers can receive instantaneous feedback after posing a question. For substitution, I said Plickers is still using the same quiz content as a traditional style quiz, but just substituting the platform of display. To augment, Plickers provides immediate feedback for review and assessment. To modify, Plickers is designed to act as a checkpoint rather than an endpoint. The results provide stepping stones towards what still needs to be achieved and minimizes test anxiety and fear of making mistakes. To redefine, by using the live view option, students can take assessments from home, making absences less detrimental and disruptive towards the learning experience. Plickers is a great tool for teachers to gain immediate understanding of whether a concept has properly resonated with the class. It's fun and engaging for students and eases test-related anxiety.
All right, so my tool was Quizlet Live. The creators, there was quite a few of them. They were corporations. The National Academy of Engineering, Inspired, Everfi, Pearson Central Europe, Worldly Wise, Corn Listen, Hearst Review, Jane Goodall Institute, Academic Media Solutions, Textbook Media Press, MCAT Self Prep, Choral Relief Allegiance, UWorld College Prep, Griffiths Latin, Andrew Sutherland, CEO and creator. What it is an online bank of study tools. It's full of comprehensive lessons, tests, games, vocabulary, varied difficulty levels. They have different grades, different concept, how far along the student is, even if they're in a higher grade, but they're struggling with a situation or a concept, they could be lowered to a little lower of a level so they can understand it and adjust to it. Adjustments to different audiences and languages. They have several different languages that the program is available for, which is great. Tools for homework or in-class exercises. Lessons can be crafted and specifically designed by the teacher. Free versions are available to students. Free limited teacher setting. You have to really teacher setting upon purchasing it. You can use all of the stuff that is available to you. Using the SAMR model as a substitute, the Quizlet Live can be substituted in a class paper quizzes with online self-grading quizzes filled with the same question material, which saves all the grading and all of the papers that you would have to go through, and it lets the students know immediately what they did wrong and different things like that. Quizlet Live can also substitute vocabulary flashcards with virtual flip cards, so you can have it on a projector in the classroom, and instead of having like a class full of kindergarten students and you give them like the flashcards A, B, C, D, you can just have it up on the screen and you can have it in great big letters so they can all see it. Substitute drawn graphs with online models. So if you have a great big graph in a textbook that you have to try and show everybody, you can have the online model on the projector and it's the same thing. It's just a different medium to get it. Augmenting it, it allows the user to share a particular group or classroom. So you have an online chat room basically, or different things like that that the students can use to communicate with each other a little bit. Shows students wrong answers immediately and has infinite attempts, which is great, which they wouldn't normally have in the classroom, but it doesn't change the whole thing a whole lot. It's just a little bit more convenient. System of best times and scores on certain class exercises. So they have vocabulary games, they have different math exercises that if you save it and you complete the problems within a certain amount of time, then you get a certain score and it saves the best scores and shows you your progress. Modifying it, Quizlet allows students and teachers alike to take learning into their own hands, which is great. They can construct their own lessons to help them with subjects that they're struggling with. A student is encouraged to tailor the subject material to suit their individual needs. Students are allowed to share study guides and materials to help each other with classwork. Students respond to questions faster with greater accuracy. Redefining, Quizlet redefines a student when they take the reins on their own education. They can teach themselves different topics. They can go into different things that their teacher is not necessarily teaching. If they have a particular interest in a class, but the teacher kind of breezed over it, but they want to learn more about it, they can use Quizlet to learn more about the topic they want to learn about. Teachers can tell students to create a group project surrounding the creation of a quiz or a game that covers material assigned to or selected by the group. The group uses material found on Quizlet and other scholarly resources and constructs the project to test on the rest of the class. Conclusion is the Quizlet is a highly useful tool for students and teachers alike, and should be made use of in future classes. Also, Quizlet can improve student scores and academic success during the course of a semester. The site has many user testimonials which indicate the students really love the program. I literally saw hundreds and hundreds of positive reviews. And it wasn't just on Quizlet, it was like doing Quizlet, it was pretty good. I'm also going to talk about formative. The formative educators are Lisa, I can't really pronounce the last name, but it was Lisa and Rachel Sanders, Jason Capel, and Dean Deaver. The team, which is kind of like the people who work on the that is Carlos Bergfield, Cheryl Young, Craig Gray, Craig Jones, David Kwan, Dobes Vandermeer, Gabriel Kors, Jonathan Mann, Kevin McFarland, Mike Joyce, Nicole Stewart, and Tucker Maxfield. Formative is a class management tool that is used as a way to receive assignments online, communicate with students instantly, and stay very involved in student class work. All submitted homework is cataloged and commented on by feedback. Formative is also a lesson planner and organizer, which is helpful in a class setting. The software allows the teacher to simply scan or upload something into a link or through a printer right into a PowerPoint, and the class planning is locked into the site, ready to go. So it's incredibly convenient. Teachers substitute a particular program in their class, something like we use Canvas. They could substitute formative for this program for personal convenience. Students have the same experience submitting materials and communicating with the teacher, but it is through a different medium, but it's pretty much exactly the same. Augmenting it, the teacher changes the format on how the website works for better use, and the students learn how to cope with the change and start making changes to their student profile to suit their needs. Modifying it, students are taking quizzes online and learning how to navigate a more complex system. They are studying online materials that are made available through the website, and teachers as opposed to a school library. So they have an online database maybe to look up all of the text and research material they need for projects instead of having to go right to the library and check out a book. Redefining it, students are fully engaged in online work and tests and quizzes. The students are forming their own study modules and taking advantage of videos, flashcards, web search engines, and many more tools, broadening their academic knowledge. Test scores are also higher because of the instant feedback from professors or teachers correcting homework assignments and tutoring. In conclusion, this tool is very helpful for teachers that do not have the access to things like Canvas, and in my opinion, this tool may work better than Canvas, at least for some people. The ease of access to students online is invaluable and could be used to help students find study materials and grade work faster. There is also the help of scanning and helpful things for lesson plans or linking pages from Google Drive for lecture slides. Overall, a very well-constructed website.
One thing, Kelly, is your computer emitting sound?
No, I have sound.
You do? Okay. Can you turn your microphone off?
Turn it off?
Yeah, turn your microphone off unless you have to speak. You, Brenna, because I think that's why an echo is happening.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so Kelly, go ahead.
Okay, next is quizzes. The CEO and founder were not supplied on the website. Currently, the website team has not responded to inquiry of this. And by that, I mean I emailed them and they kind of sent me to their contact, but never responded. Quizzes turns assessment into competitive fun through live games in class or homework modules. It's interactive and engaging. It incorporates memes, avatars, and exciting graphics to get students excited about learning. Each student accesses through their own device, and all devices are supported. Students enter quizzes and games through one classroom code, and quizzes can be shared from teacher to teacher, student to student. Quizzes still implements the same content as a traditional assessment, but on a different platform. So it's a little bit more interactive. They're all on their phone or laptop. It provides students instant feedback so they know whether they answered a question correctly and where they rank, whereas with a traditional, you have to wait for the teacher to grade it and pass it back. It is customizable to allow avatars, custom-built tests, and personalized assignments related to any number of topics. Students can use quizzes at home to respond to their independent reading, to monitor progress, create chapter checkpoints, and guarantee understanding. Students can interact with each other and compete in content-related games. It's another assessment program that alleviates typical anxiety associated with testing. It appeals to a wide audience from young children to high schoolers using age-related humor. And students feel as if they're competing in a game rather than just studying for a test.
Okay, so I have Kahoot. The founding team consisted of Johan Brand, Jamie Brooker, Asman Faruseth, and Morten Versvik. And at the bottom of their webpage, there's a leadership link that will allow you to learn more about the creators and leaders. It's a game-based platform, typically used for formative assessments and reviews. It allows you to create your own game or search for already made games. It uses one-on-one or group exercises, involves how-to videos, makes it easier to use. It's pretty easy to create a game quiz. It shows the stats to teachers about quizzes, plays, players, and shares. Continued. You could do like a quick before test review using Kahoot. So, like a brush up on knowledge. You could set up Kahoot games in the Technology Center for center or free time. During group work, you could assign different Kahoots to different groups, and you can survey opinions easily to make a class-wide decision. For substitute, you can complete a quiz or review on Kahoot instead of with paper and pencil. For augmenting, you can have students to use team mode to complete an assignment on their shared device. For modify, after students have gone over a lesson, they can create and administer a quiz of their own. And for redefine, you can complete a Kahoot with a class in a different state or country. Conclusion, reasons to use it, it's free. You can connect to other countries through it. You don't need an account or login for your players, only the teacher needs that. Some downsides, it does require internet connection. It requires devices to connect to the internet with, and so students without devices or internet cannot use this for homework. Classcraft was done by both Brenna and myself. So I did the who, what, and conclusion. So it was co-founded by Sean Young, Devin Young, and Lauren Young, three brothers, I'm assuming, by the last name. They didn't really have any about information on their website. It just kind of had their names. So I looked them up, and all three of them do have LinkedIn accounts. So you can go on there to find out more about them. It's essentially a video games for class time. So students play in teams, which makes them accountable to each other. They gain XP, is experience points, by performing in ways that the teacher deems desirable. They lose HP, which are health points, by behaving in unacceptable ways. So examples of that would be like if they're behaving well, or they were really kind to a classmate, or they picked something up for somebody, like those would be ways they can gain XP. Or if they're being rude or disruptive or late for class, they can lose HP in those ways. Those are set by the teacher. The teacher gets to assign consequences for like special rewards and consequences. The interface takes teachers step by step to set up the classroom. The game offers many suggestions on what students can gain XP or lose HP with, which is nice. if you're, lacking that, what you think they should get as rewards or consequences. The students can complete their homework on the game, and lessons could be done in center styles, even in later grades, where the students go with their group to complete a task or quiz as practice, while the remaining groups in the class are involved in other small group or whole group activities. So substitute, the SAMR model was done by Brenna, so go ahead.
Me. Students can complete in-class assignments and receive special abilities instead of stickers and rewarding them for good work. So say they did really, really well on a math test, and instead of getting like a gold star, which is traditional, they get a ability like a boost. Say they get points. Well, if you get enough help points, maybe you can turn an assignment a little bit late and not get a dock off your grade. So it is a little bit it's still the reward, it's just a different medium to get it, which is really cool. Augments, the students can join guilds and teams for group events, like group projects, and score winning points or fall in battle and are rewarded accordingly. So if they win a particular battle, they get a boost like the XP, the health points, special little moves they can do, or they can fall in battle, which means they failed the assignment and they have to make up. The groups that do well earn special moves or points in the game and earn things like free hall passes, late assignments with no deduction, choice seat in the class, etc. Whatever seems important to the students that is within reason, that can be one of the things they can earn that's positive. Okay, modifying it, students can earn points, buff up their characters, and complete quests, homework to beat the game and impress the game master, which is the teacher. The students are fully engaged in the game and inner workings of the lesson to earn special prizes and rewards. They're thinking about the rules of the game and how to play the game in the best way possible. Instead of dreading class, students talk about it and plan for it to win, which is a lot better than them dreading it, obviously. Redefining, students are actively using XP, spells, gaming perks, obey the rules, playing the game to the fullest. The classroom is not a classroom, but a game board that is fun and a different place to come to each day. Classcraft made learning more interesting and thus more fun. Students are helping each teammate complete missions and quests so all players make it to the finish line and beat the game, which I found was pretty cool because sometimes in class you don't really have the camaraderie that a game can actually bring to it, which is awesome.
So some concluding points, reasons to use it. It engages students in a way that they are likely to enjoy. It's customizable to the teacher's preferences, and students are encouraged to work together and keep each other accountable. Some downsides are the powers awarded to students diminish the importance of certain classroom aspects. So some awards could be like come late to class no more than 5 minutes, or turn in an assignment a day late, or skip a question on an exam, which are fun rewards, but kind of diminish the importance of showing up on time and turning your stuff in on time and answering all the questions on the exam. The powers create unfair advantages to certain students. So if a teacher sees one student behaving well a lot, but neglects to see another student behaving well in certain situations, one will get more experience points and then they can get advantages, and it just isn't always fair. And this is not necessarily an interface that's used easily with younger children, because while they definitely could use it, a lot of like what it's based on is kind of things that apply to older students, like turning in your essay on the right day or showing up to class on time. Like, you don't necessarily penalize kindergarten and pre-K students for those things.
All right, so next is Class Dojo. It has a couple co-founders. Sam Chaudhary, he has a degree in economics and he taught economics. Liam Don is the other co-founder. He has a degree in computer science and he taught robotics in high school. The two of them interviewed hundreds of teachers before beginning their project, and they found that 40% of teachers spend half of their time planning classroom management. Class Dojo is similar to Life Cubby used in daycares, which is basically it's sent to your phone, and it's just a log of it tracks daily progress and accomplishments and things like that. It maintains a positive vibe to encourage a feeling of community amongst the students, and it includes parents so they always know what to expect. It's customizable for students so they can create their own avatar and make their profile unique, which makes it a little bit more fun. It still records grades like a report card, so the substitute, when applying the SAMR model, it's a little bit more accessible through the electronic device rather than waiting for report cards to arrive. It's a daily progress tracker. To augment, it goes beyond tracking attendance and grades by making them instantly accessible to students, parents, and teachers. As a modification, it allows students to proudly display their work by uploading art projects, tests, and certificates right through a device's camera. And as redefinition, they can use Class Dojo, students can, as an interactive pen pal system, photos, games, and other activities to students across the world. That can kind of help them learn about different cultures and ways of living. It's a simple way to promote self-pride in one's work and get an entire classroom to get excited about what they learned. Parents can get real-time updates about what their child is learning and creating. And students can choose what they want to display, making their profile customizable and personal.
So QR stuff. The founders and developers, unfortunately, were not listed on the website. There was an about page, but it literally have.
Kelly, can you
What QR Stuff is a website that allows the user to create QR codes that are scannable by smartphones, tablets, and iPads, etc. The code can be used as a link to anything such as a picture, website, reward code, or more. Websites can use many different types of formatting to make the code compatible to different devices. It's very versatile on a lot of different things. A lot of people don't actually know what QR codes are, and the best way to describe what they are is the little square code you sometimes see on like foods or fruit at the grocery store, and you scan it with your iPhone or different things like that, and they'll tell you about the product. That's kind of like what a QR code is. The substitute, instead of handing out stickers on papers in class, the teacher can use these codes with links to funny little animations. The student has a list of codes throughout the semester that are links to study guides for the exams instead of getting a paper copy in class. Another thought that could be used for this is like the little stickers. If you have older kids, you can substitute a code to a funny YouTube clip that you thought they might like, or different things like that. It's just a little more versatile than just the little stickers in class. Augment, students can send codes to different friends and students linking to an online flyer for a upcoming school play instead of passing out flyers, which helps save the paper and all the cost of ink and stuff, but it still has the same effect. Modifying as students are asked to access QR stuff and build a code linking to a class project that has been worked on all semester. The code is submitted via email to a teacher and must work to receive full credit. Students are sharing most class information via codes, creating codes for different website links in internet working. The links work flawlessly and the websites build off each other. Obviously, this is best suited for course or computer development or technology course in high school, it's not going to work very well with younger kids, but older kids that are in like an AP class and they're learning how to really work with computers and use them to their advantage, this would be a great tool to have in their classroom. The conclusion, QR stuff is handy in certain circumstances, and it's very helpful if teachers are teaching students web design and networking. Also could be integrated into class through funny little animation clips or clips to cartoons at the top of a completed assignment. But again, it is limited because if you don't have an older class to understand how to use this or how to work with this program, or somebody doesn't have iPhone or tablet, that QR code is going to mean absolutely nothing to them. So it's definitely something that you should know a little bit more about your students before you decide if you're going to use this in your program or your classroom.
Next is Newsela. Matthew Gross is the founder and CEO, and Dan Cogan-Drew is the co-founder and chief product officer. Jennifer Coogan is the chief content officer and West Coast office head. Amy Fearon is the chief financial officer, and Dan Winston is the chief community officer.
Sorry, Brenna, can you mute your microphone, please?
Newsela acts as an online database, library, and newsstand for students from 2nd to 6th grade. Each Newsela text or article is subcategorized by grade level and subject matter to make the search for relevant reading material as simple as possible. Students can use Newsela as a studying tool for current events or independent reading. The texts come backed with assessments, so it's easy to test understanding on a unique and individual level. Each text or article comes ready equipped with power words that are highlighted and defined within context. Vocabulary is saved onto an individual profile to use as reference later on, and teachers may annotate, prompt, and pose questions within the margins of a text. For the SAMR model as a substitution, Newsela allows students to choose from a nearly unlimited supply of articles based on personal interest, prompting with greater interest than generic text. As an augmentation, teachers may annotate in the margins to highlight important paragraphs, concepts, or definitions as they pertain to each article. As a modification, Newsela collaborates with online learning platforms such as Google Classroom to provide immediate feedback and check on student progress from one location. This goes beyond moving from reading group to reading group within a classroom and minimizes wasted instructional time. As a redefinition, students can take vocabulary words highlighted within the text and create short stories, poems, or artwork based upon their definitions. So overall, Newsela expands upon simply assigning a book for students to read. They have the ability to choose content based upon interest and compete in text and vocabulary-based games. Because Newsela incorporates both fiction and nonfiction, it can be used with current events, storytelling, and character development. Quizzes are low stake and redefine traditional assessment expectations. Vocabulary is taught within the context of the text to help exemplify terms and definitions that they can see it in real time.
Okay, so I have Choosito. It was, I couldn't find any like creators, but it was funded by the National Science Foundation. And if you want more information about that, you can go to the National Science Foundation, their government website. It is a student search engine that allows filtering by reading level and subject area. It allows searching the entire web or educator-approved libraries. It's very easy to use as filters are fairly accurate. It gives the option to make suggestions on the filter. So if you see something that you think doesn't fit under that filter, you can make a suggestion and they will take it off or change it, likely. So this would allow teachers to ask students to search and not worry about what kinds of sites they might find on the web. It can be used for free time on computers and also to find good sources for projects. And they can also search for images on there for presentations. The SAMR model substitute you can have students look up information on Choosito instead of in textbooks. Augmenting, you can have the students use Choosito with its educator-approved filters and library instead of something like Google or Bing. For modifying, you can have the class create a collective Choosito library where they can all access resources found by other students in the classroom. So they can all like add stuff to a library.
Kayla, there's a lot of background noise. Could you read that one again, please?
Yeah, so you can have the class create a collective Choosito library where they can all access resources found by other students in the classroom. So they can, if they see a site they like, they can add it to a personal library, and then all the students can access it if they make that library. And then read finding. Students can share search results on social media. So this can include more than just our class, but more of an international classroom. They can leave a comment and ask for feedback from other social media users. Some reasons to use it. Brenna, do you have a way to mute your microphone?
It's muted, I think.
Okay, well, Kelly's, yours is muted, right?
Mine's muted. I don't know where this noise is coming from, but I couldn't hear a lot of the slides from you, Kayla.
Here, let me, hang on. Brenna, do you see at the top of your thing the mute microphone button?
I'm the best sex one of them all. Teammate riding me out. What?
Here, Brenna, do you see that button at the top of the Google Hangout where your face is?
Yeah.
Can you click that and see if it works? Go ahead.
You're talking about the microphone, right?
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So hit that unless you're talking. Okay. So I'm just going to go back and go over these briefly again. So Choosito, founded by the National Science Foundation, you can go on their website to go over it. It's just a search engine that allows filtering by reading level and subject areas. You can search the entire web with those filters or just the educator-approved libraries. It's super easy to use, and the filters are pretty accurate. And if you think they're not, you can make suggestions about them. So this would allow teachers to ask students to search for things and not be worried about what they might find. And so you can use it on free time, and you can also search images on there for certain presentations. For Substitute, you can just have them use this instead of like textbooks to find information. For Augment, you can have them use this with its educator-approved filters and library instead of like Google or Bing. For Modify, you can have the class create a collective Choosito library where they can all access resources found by other students in the classroom. So what that means is like they can add, individual students can add something to a collective library, and then they can all access it later and see all the sources that they've collected. And then you can share these search results on social media. So this can make more of like an international classroom. So you could leave a comment with that and then ask for feedback from other social media users. Conclusion, reasons to use it. It has pre-filters for teachers already made. They don't have to filter through. It has a free option. There's an option you can pay for, but there is a free option. It filters to reading level, so most searches will not be above the comprehension level of students. Some problems is that anything past the basic, there's only limited access, and if you do choose to pay, it's a minimum of $50 per class per year, so that might not be in the budget. It does require internet access, requires devices, and it doesn't always bring up 100% reliable sources because they say they want all-inclusive source, like they want the search to include everything that a student might be able to find. So that includes like Wiki, which is not a recommended source.
All right, I have Adobe Spark. There was nobody on the Who page whatsoever. There was nobody who took credit for building this website, not even a corporation. Maybe I just couldn't find it, but I looked all over the site. There was not much. What Adobe Spark basically is a website design builder like Wix or Weebly. It has standard web builder features as well as some unique to itself. It has video, audio, picture capability, as well as many templates. SAMR substitute. Teachers use a website built on Adobe Spark as opposed to bringing a traditional school system to communicate with students that are absent from class or cannot come to school due to health reasons. Say they'll set up a stream, like a live stream of their classroom, and the student can look at it on the website. Augmenting students send late work to teacher via website instead of via school system. So it's a little bit of substitution, a little bit of augment, because they're not using the actual school system to send it. They're just sending it straight to the professor. Modifying absent students are using this website to watch in-class lectures as the teacher streams them live. They can also have live streams with the teacher where the teacher can see them. And if they have a question, they can have a full-on discussion with the teacher as if they were right in the classroom. Students are streaming live to teacher and building their own websites. Students are storing all school papers on website for storage purposes and convenience, kind of like Google Drive, but they can all be looked at by the professor. And if they're made available to the class, the class can look at them for peer reviews, different things like that. Conclusion: this website builder is much like others, but it could be handy and depending on the type of program teachers run or the class they teach. It could be useful for teaching about web design, storage, and communication. Honestly, there are quite a few website builder programs out there, and you just have to figure out which one is right for you. This one is pretty good, but again, you do have to pay for like a premium package to be able to use it at its fullest. So that might not be in the budget for your particular school, but if it is, I would give it a look because it is pretty professional. It's well built, so it's pretty good. And it's within the school budget, or you are willing to pay it yourself.
So Canva was done by Kelly and I. Kelly went ahead with the who, what, and conclusion, so go ahead.
So Melanie Perkins is the co-founder. She taught graphic design courses in an introductory areas where students were struggling. Cliff Obrecht was a co-founder as well, and he helped design Fusion Books, an interactive tool used to design and customize yearbooks. Cameron Adams is the third co-founder, or other founder. He's a tech coordinator in charge of branching out the company to a larger audience. Canva is an easy-to-use graphic design platform designed specifically with educators in mind. From letterheads to flyers, posters to graphs, Canva can create nearly any template. It's customizable, so users can browse through thousands of templates or edit and design their own. Teachers can connect with parents through email invitations or use the interface as a lesson component with graphs, diagrams, photo editing, and exciting presentations. So it's really just like a Microsoft Word or anything like that, but again, it's specifically towards educators, so it's very useful.
For substitute, you could have students write a story while paying special attention and not simply the words, but also the appearance of the words. So if you have like the text box, you can make them make a story that looks pretty without using paper and pencil. To augment, you can have the students design their own presentation collaboratively. To modify, you can have the students create not only visually appealing presentation, but also one with topic-appropriate pictures. And to redefine, students could create cards inviting people like family and friends to view their presentation. That we could then make the presentation public, mail out the cards, and invite people to give feedback. Using this program, I actually created a card It was really easy to use, really fun, but I made a card for like a dinner party, and then you can order them and mail them to people, so it's pretty cool.
Canva is a teacher-friendly design tool that takes out the guesswork that more complex graphic design applications may bring. That's one of the biggest concerns, I think, with graphic design is just being able to make your way around the controls. Canva is geared toward a classroom setting, making the templates learning relevant and interesting to use and look at. Teachers can create customizable certificates to recognize achievements and motivate good behavior. Students at a more advanced level can also benefit from this tool to supplement class projects and presentations.
And this is just a list of our references. Oops. My microphone was down, I'm sorry. This is just a list of our references that from the tools that we found. All right, guys. I think we've done it.
All right.
So I'm going to go ahead and stop the broadcast, and then I will send you the link.
All right.